Thanksgiving. Sounds like you need the Johnny Vegas hangover cure. Let's get started. First, take an ordinary dirty drinking glass. Then, add some water. A little less than half full. We won't need much for what we're doing. Next from there, we're going to start off with a little fresh pepper. Just enough to line the top. Then we're going to add some fresh sea salt. Then we're going to add ourselves a little dollop of sugar. Then we're going to add a nice generous splash of Frank's Red Hot sauce. On top of that, we're going to put in a little bit of Downy brand fabric softener. Just to make sure you get your copper for the day, 1 old penny. And we finally top it off with 1 cracked egg. There is no way I'm drinking that. You're absolutely right. That's why it comes with a funnel. Bottoms up, puppet boy!
In 2013, a degenerate gambling puppet was sent to prison for fixing a fantasy football game. He promptly escaped to the fantasy football underground. He still survives as a fantasy football bookie. If you don't know who to start, if you don't know who to cut, and you have yourself a six-pack of half blue ribbon to give up, maybe you can hire Johnny Vegas.
Welcome to Week 13 of the Board People's Fantasy Football League. This is the last week of regular season action. This is the last week that you can get a ticket in the general admission section. After this week, it becomes rather exclusive. But that's okay. Before we go any further, let's give props where they're due. Scobeyville Senators and Rich Road Roughnecks, you've done a damn fine job. I'm looking forward to next season when you command the draft. But in the meantime, starting us off this week, we got a monster of a matchup. We have some interdivisional action as the A-Holes take on Team Snake-a-da-Puss. Irving versus... where does Snakes live? Ireland! Irving versus Ireland. Aye. It's going to be a hell of a matchup. You have the number 2 global team led by Alex Smith going on against the number 3 central team led by Russell Wilson. I'm looking this one over. And it's all going to come down to the fact that they have 2 amazing players on the team. For the A-Holes, it's Todd Gurley. For the Snake-a-Puss, it's Jimmy Graham. And with those 2 in mind, that's why I'm going to give this one to the Snake-a-Puss by 14. Because I think Jimmy Graham is kind of like a sleeping giant in the NFL. First part of the season, he hasn't done shit. Now, he is the shit. Snake-a-Puss by 14. Up next, we have the Collins Vandals taking on the Taylor Hollow Terror. This one is going to be epic because these are 2 of the most storied franchises in BPFFL League history. The Collins Vandals, led by the wily Tom Brady, and the Taylor Hollow Terror, led by the not-so-wily and easily distracted Dak Prescott. That said, these are two teams with deep rosters, but as I always tell you, the quarterback runs the ship. That said, Vandals by 2. Up next, we have the Scobeyville Senators going up against the Eden Extractors. Now, I'm hoping that the Senators come on hard because you had Matthew Stafford leading your charge. Could that have been the reason for your record being 2-9-1? Perhaps. Perhaps. But you're going up against the Senators, and I think the Senators are really, really tough coming into the playoffs. They want to finish 6-7 because they're currently 5-7. And they are led by Kirk Cousins, who was a nice pickup they got from the Slaughterhouse. And they got the number 1 wide receiver in the NFL in DeAndre Hopkins. Extractors by 25. Up next, we have a match that has some big-time implications, both at the beginning and at the end of the draft. We're talking about the Gowanda Thunder going up against the Rich Road Roughnecks. The top of the Central versus the bottom of the Central. Cam Newton going up against a one-legged Deshaun Watson. It's not even fair, but we've got to do it anyway. Thunder by 11. Okay, now pat my head. What do you mean you only got one arm? Bastard. And finally, we end the week with the Slaughterhouse going up against the Hangman. Slaughterhouse is riding the top of the global division and could possibly finish with a 10-3 record, led by the incomparable Carson Wentz. They're going up against the Hada Hangman, who are going to round up number 4 in the global, behind the impressive powers, albeit very unusual, of Greg the Leg Zerlane. But they also have the number 1 defense in Jacksonville. But all the defense in the world isn't going to do anything when you have somebody who's a quarterback, touchdown dropping monster like Carson Wentz. So I'm going to give this one to the Slaughterhouse by 7. But pay attention. Depending on how the bracketology goes, we have a number 1 team taking on a number 4 team. Depending on how bracketology goes, they might meet again the very next week. It's like Rocky 1 and Rocky 2. That's the one with, it had Rocky Balboa, and it also had, what's his name? Clubber Lang? No, that was 3. Ivan Drago, that was 2. I didn't watch 5. Didn't watch the other one. Let's see. Apollo Creed! Yeah, that's it. Apollo Creed. Carl Weathers, I am so sorry. Slaughterhouse by 7. Well, that's all I got for this week. We're going into the playoffs. We're coming in hot. We're coming in hard. We're coming in charging. And I did not mean to sound like Javi Fiestine when I did that. Just a coincidence. Woo! See you all next week. God, my ass is tired. Now we done got that out the way. Let's have some fun. Loud neighbors. Very loud.
Sounds like you need the... Wait, I'm going to give you some more pause time.
I'm sorry. Oh, shit. One more time. Hi! Yeah. Yeah.
I thought you put the brake on the safety of the car. Gay!